Welcome to The Explainer. Florida lawmakers just unveiled a massive, honestly game-changing $115 billion budget blueprint. If you live down in the Sunshine State, or hey, even if you're just watching the real estate and infrastructure trends down there, you absolutely need to pay attention to this. We're going to break down exactly what all these huge numbers mean for your wallet, your property, and your local community.
So here's our roadmap for today. First, Florida's $115 billion budget. Second, investing in resilient infrastructure. Third, boosting affordable homeownership. Fourth, fortifying against Florida storms. And finally, expanding the insurance market. Let's get right into it.
Section 1, Florida's $115 billion budget, the macro view. To really wrap our heads around the impact of these new initiatives, we have to start with the sheer scale of the agreement. $115 billion. I mean, to put that into perspective, that is larger than the entire economic output of several countries. Right now, as Florida continues its rapid growth, the state is facing some incredibly complex, intertwined challenges, namely soaring housing costs and, of course, the ever-present threat of severe storms. Well, this proposed budget is essentially the comprehensive financial solution meant to tackle those exact issues head-on. It's really a blueprint for the future of the state's infrastructure and housing market. Section 2, investing in resilient infrastructure, protecting the state. Now, what's really interesting here is that you simply can't talk about Florida's growth without talking about its environment. Lawmakers are heavily investing in macro environmental defenses, basically pushing a sheer volume of capital directly into natural preservation. We're talking about $636.6 million dedicated solely to Everglades restoration. On top of that, you've got $425 million for the Rural and Family Lands Program and another $380 million earmarked for various water projects. You know, these aren't just aesthetic environmental choices to make things look pretty. They are massive structural investments meant to manage water flow and preserve the foundational lands of the entire state. And honestly, the defense system doesn't stop there. The proposed budget also dedicates $170 million specifically for flooding and sea level rise resilience. Add to that $50 million for Florida Springs protection and another $50 million for beach and inlet management. When you actually step back and add all these numbers up, you see a very clear strategy emerging. The state is basically building a multi-layered defense system against rising water and severe storms by fortifying its natural borders and internal waterways. So why should you care about all these big state-level ecological projects? Well, because managing water and restoring the Everglades directly safeguards flood protection for your specific neighborhood. And in turn, protecting communities from floods is absolutely vital for maintaining long-term property values and encouraging healthy community growth. Plus, and this is probably the biggest takeaway for anyone living in Florida, reducing the overall risk across the state plays a huge role in stabilizing those ever-important insurance costs. Section 3, boosting affordable home ownership, zooming into communities. Okay, so we've looked at the macro-level state infrastructure, but what does this actually mean for your wallet? One piece of really great news is that key housing programs remain fully funded. Take the SHIP program, for example. That stands for the State Housing Initiatives Partnership. It is fully funded at $165.7 million. This is a critical pipeline of money that flows directly into local communities to support affordable and workforce housing. It essentially ensures that the everyday people who keep Florida's communities running actually have affordable places to live. Working right alongside that is the SAIL program, which is the State Apartment Incentive Loan Program. Lawmakers maintained its full funding at an impressive $70.8 million. Together, SHIP and SAIL act as foundational tools that developers and communities use to build out the affordable housing infrastructure that the state so desperately needs right now. Now, let's zoom down even further. Imagine you're an individual family looking to buy your very first home. This next detail is huge. The Hometown Heroes program is receiving an additional $50 million in funding. That's incredible, because this is a program that has already helped so many Florida workers, the true backbone of these communities, achieve the dream of homeownership. Okay, let's dive into this a bit. Here is exactly how that $50 million goes to work for everyday people. The program provides direct, tangible assistance right where it hurts the most for first-time buyers, down payments and closing costs. Furthermore, it opens the door to much more affordable financing opportunities. By keeping this program not just alive, but actually boosting it with another $50 million, the state is making a very clear, strong commitment to helping Floridians achieve and maintain homeownership, even despite the rising market costs. Section 4.
fortifying against Florida storms, protecting your home.
So we've talked about buying the home, but what about keeping it safe? Defending property against severe weather is, without a doubt, a major pain point for current individual homeowners, and lawmakers have dedicated $405 million to address it. Now, what's cool here is that this isn't just new spending. This is actually more than $405 million in unused funds that are being cleverly redirected back into two absolutely critical fortification programs, the My Safe Florida Home Program and the My Safe Florida Condominium Program. Rather than letting those funds just sit idle, they're pushing that money directly into the hands of property owners who need to upgrade their defenses.
This brilliantly illustrates the entire philosophy behind that reallocation. It's all about cause and effect, right? The action is helping homeowners physically strengthen their properties. Think impact windows, reinforced roof attachments, the kind of things that keep you physically safe during a massive hurricane. But the result of taking those actions is that it may help actively reduce your future insurance risks. So you're protecting your family physically, for sure, but you're also protecting your wallet financially from sky-high premiums down the line. It's a total win-win.
Section 5. Expanding the insurance market. Insuring the state. For a lot of residents, property insurance is quite literally the single most crucial pain point right now. But state officials just provided a vital update. 3 new property insurance companies have officially entered Florida's market. And listen, when you have a market that has historically been super tight and challenging for consumers, bringing in new players means bringing in much-needed competition. And they aren't just bringing competition either. They are bringing serious financial backing. Remember that massive $115 billion state budget we discussed earlier? Well, here's an incredible private sector number to match it, $850 million. That is the amount of additional private capital these 3 new companies are bringing into the Florida insurance market. This influx of capital is a massive, real-world vote of confidence in the state's resilience strategies. So, the crucial point is this. More competition in the insurance market may help create additional options for Florida homeowners over time. When those huge state investments in environmental resilience finally meet private market capital, the ultimate winner is the homeowner, who finally gets more choices and, hopefully, a little relief when it comes to ensuring their slice of the Sunshine State. We've definitely covered a lot of ground today, from a staggering $115 billion macro budget and multi-million-dollar Everglades restorations, all the way down to the Hometown Heroes program, helping you with your closing costs. Florida is clearly making huge, significant investments in affordability, resiliency, and infrastructure to manage its boom and growth. But ultimately, all these numbers and programs come down to where you live. So I want to leave you with this question to think about. How will Florida's new blueprint reshape your community's future? Take a look around your neighborhood this year and watch how these billions in investments begin to actually change the landscape. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.